Let's be honest, women are not nearly as mysterious as they love to sell themselves to be. I'm so hard to understand, sure, it sounds like a magic spell. The truth, yes, they are complex. But complex does not mean impossible to decode. A Swiss watch is complex too, but once you understand its mechanism, you can tell the time precisely without guessing. And here's the reality. Any woman, whether she's as confident as a CEO, as gentle as a preschool teacher, or as cold as a New York winter morning, has emotional weak spots. Soft buttons that, if you press the right one, will make her defenses drop faster than the buttons on the right night with the right person. The problem is, most men never hit the right spot. They guess blindly, or worse, they act from the fear of losing her. Stoicism helps you cut through that guessing game. It teaches you to hold your ground in the storm, face reality directly, and not let emotions run the show. When you combine Stoic thinking with the 15 qualities I'm about to share, you won't just understand women better. You'll build yourself a value frame so solid that no one can shake it. These 15 qualities are not tricks to pick up women. They're 15 puzzle pieces that, once put together, make you the kind of man women respect instinctively. And more importantly, the kind of man you respect yourself. When you have them, you won't need to chase. When you lack them, you'll be tested until you break. Watch until the end, and you'll know exactly where to start. After watching, comment solid as stone to remind yourself. This is Victory Stoic. If this wakes you up, like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss the next slap of reality. We start with the foundation. Because if this foundation is shaky, every other quality you try to build is just a tent pitched on sand. And that foundation is confidence that needs no permission. It sounds cliché, but trust me. Most men think they have it, when what they're really using is a cheap knockoff confidence that exists only with someone else's approval. Quality 1. Confidence without permission. Here's a truth that's both funny and brutal. The harder you try to show confidence, the more you look like you're handing out an application for approval to be confident. You see it everywhere. In business meetings, there's always a guy who unprompted stands up and talks 3 times longer than the question required, ending with an awkward smile as if he's afraid that if he sits down quietly, people will forget he exists. Or on a first date, when he nods, constantly laughs too much, and lists off a string of achievements from his marathon mileage to a big deal he once closed in a tone like he's interviewing for a job. These behaviors are like wearing a sign on your forehead that says, "Please validate that I'm fine." And women pick up on that signal faster than you can adjust your posture. Not because they're psychic, but because they can read what psychology calls perceived confidence. The confidence that's felt, not the one you label onto yourself. Research by Tracy and Robbins, 2008, found that perceived confidence impacts initial attraction even more than physical appearance. The Stoics understood this thousands of years ago. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish by others." Permissionless confidence starts with not putting your value up for auction for others to price with their glances, compliments, or likes. It's not about standing in the middle of a room and shouting, "I'm here," but walking into any space with the mindset, "I'm here because I chose to be here, and if no one notices, your value remains intact." I remember once at a charity fundraiser, 2 men walked in. One wore an expensive suit, constantly shaking hands, slapping backs, grinning like he'd just won the lottery, and dropping once lines into every conversation, like verbal business cards. The other wore a simple shirt, walked slowly, eyes scanning the room like he was reading it, then stood in a corner, speaking to just one person. 30 minutes later, the second man had become the center of the most important conversations, not because he pushed his way in, but because people sought him out. He didn't ask for permission to be confident. He was confident before he even walked in. Evolutionary psychology explains this clearly. For tens of thousands of years, women had to assess a man's ability to survive and protect purely through signals. A man who can stand firm without needing a crowd behind him emits the signal, "I can weather storms," without backup. That's a costly signal, the kind you can't fake, because if you fake it, it shows. On the other hand, when your confidence depends on other people's reactions, you've already slipped a leash around your own neck. When they praise you, you light up. When they're silent, you crash. That's not confidence, that's addiction to approval, and addicts are always controlled. How to train permissionless confidence is simple, but not easy. Change the question. Instead of, "Do they like me?" ask, "Am I acting in line with my values?" True value can't be taken from you. Unreadable, practice neutral face plus neutral body. When teased, ignored, or challenged, keep your tone and posture steady. This makes people wonder what you're thinking, and wondering means they're already drawn into your frame. Set intrinsic goals. Before a date meeting or event, set a goal that doesn't depend on others. Learn one new thing. Try a different way of asking a question. Winning is when you hit that goal, not when they react the way you want. My friend Daniel is a real-life example. He used to be the permission-seeking type. On a date, his eyes would constantly search her reactions before saying anything more. After starting a Stoic-style journal, answering one nightly question, "Is there worship of me? Within my control? Does it pay any of my bills? Will bragging make me cringe when I get home?" Daniel gradually dropped the habit of seeking approval. 6 months later, same clothes, same smile, but his vibe had completely changed. Women started conversations with him more often, but he no longer cared in a clinging way. Permissionless confidence is something women respond to instinctively, but men must cultivate intentionally. When you have it, you don't need to say, "I'm confident." People will feel it, and women will respect you even if they never say it. It's like the solid ground you stand on. But just standing there isn't enough, because you're not in a desert. You're in a room full of conversation, emotion, and unspoken signals. And the next thing will decide whether you're the man she wants to open up to, or just a silent brick wall, the ability to be understood without having to explain yourself. Quality 2. Being understood without having to explain. Most men fall into two types when listening to women speak. The first is the fixer hears one sentence and instantly offers a solution. The second is the judge hears one sentence and instantly decides what's right or wrong. Both think they're helping. But to a woman, both carry the same message. You're not really listening. You're using your head to overpower mine. When a woman speaks, especially about something stressful or hurtful, 80% of what she wants isn't a fix, but an emotional space where she can put the weight down for a moment. Research by Jack Zenger and Joseph Folkman, Harvard Business Review, 2016, shows that people rated as good listeners consistently do three things: stay fully present, don't interrupt, and respond in ways that encourage the other person to keep talking. The Stoics wouldn't be surprised by this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Listen with goodwill, even when you already know the answer." This isn't advice to become a free therapist. It's training yourself to tolerate other people's silence and imperfection without jumping in to fix them. I once saw a memorable example. A married couple I know, Laura and James, were at a BBQ. Laura was telling James about work stress, her voice tight with frustration. James cut her off immediately. "Why don't you just tell your boss he's wrong?" Laura went quiet, turned to speak to someone else, and James stood there looking puzzled. 3 weeks later, Laura told my wife she felt like talking to James is like talking to Siri. He hears, processes, and spits out a solution, but never feels my story. Women aren't looking for Siri in a suit. They want someone who can be there, hold the space, and let them take off the emotional armor society makes them wear all day. When you do this, you trigger in their brain a sense of safety, the foundation of long-term attraction. Psychologists call these secure attachment cues. But don't get it wrong, being understood doesn't mean nodding at everything. In fact, if you nod too much, she'll feel you're faking it. What she senses is genuine presence, eyes, steady, not drifting, as if you're somewhere else, body-oriented toward her. And when she pauses, you acknowledge her feelings before offering your opinion. Example, instead of, "You're overreacting, it's not a big deal," say, "Sounds like you had a lot on your plate today." That one line tells her you're tuned into her emotional frequency, not standing outside judging it. From there, if needed, you can add your perspective, and it will be received completely differently. Deep listening is a skill most men think they have, but actually don't. In a survey by Diane Schilling Forbes 2012, over 90% of people rated their listening skills as above average, but when tested, only about 25% truly listened well. Most were listening to reply, not listening to understand. How to train being understood without explaining. Stoic practice. Control the fixing reflex. When you want to give a solution, pause for 3 seconds. In those 3 seconds, ask, does she need a fix or does she need to be felt? Reflect to the emotion, not the story. Repeat or acknowledge the feeling she's experiencing. I can see how that would wear you out before commenting. Maintain physical presence. No checking your phone, no scanning the room, no half turning your body as if you're ready to leave. The Stoics said, be fully where your feet are. Sacredure, practice active silence. Don't rush to fill pauses. Sometimes that gap is where she finds what she truly wants to say. One of my coaching clients, Mark, once complained that all his relationships seemed to cool down over time. When we reviewed recordings of his conversations with his consent, we discovered that every 20 seconds, he interrupted his girlfriend's story. After 6 weeks of practicing active silence and emotional acknowledgement, Mark didn't just improve his current relationship, he told me, I heard things I'd never known before. Turns out my girlfriend is way more interesting than I thought. When you listen deeply and are truly present, a woman feels understood without you needing to lecture her or explain how much you understand her. And that feeling is what makes her choose to stay, not because you speak well, but because you make her feel safe to be herself. You can listen deeply, be fully present, and make her feel safe. But there will come a time when the waves rise. She might test you, go silent, or throw out a line that changes the mood instantly. This is where many men fall into the pit, not because they lack intelligence or strength, but because they can't control their reactions. And this is where another quality steps in: timely, masculine silence. Quality 3, timely, masculine silence. Here's a truth most men overlook. Women will test you, not because they like drama, but because at a subconscious level, they need to know, is this man steady? A man who can't keep his balance in a small wave will never survive a storm. In their eyes, emotional steadiness under pressure is a primal survival signal, the same as an ancient oak that doesn't sway when the wind shifts. But most men react like a fire alarm, red lights, flashing sirens blaring, and everyone in the room knows he's lost control. She stays silent for 10 minutes. He sends 3 texts asking, "What's wrong?" when she says, "I think there's a problem with this relationship," during an argument. He launches into a 15-minute speech listing everything he's done for her. In psychology, this is called reactive behavior action, driven by fear, not guided by principle. Women feel the difference instantly. When you react too quickly, you show that your mind is entangled in her emotions. When you stay calm, you send a completely different signal: I'm here. I see what's happening. And I'll choose how to respond, rather than being pulled along. This signal goes straight to the limbic brain, the part that processes safety and attraction. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When that strength is expressed outwardly, it's like a zone of still pressure, where outside turbulence can't break through. This is something women both respect and find magnetic. Picture this: she throws out a test like, "Are you sure you're good enough for me?" If you jump up to prove yourself with words, you've already lost. If you smile lightly, hold her gaze and say, "I know my worth." Whether that's enough or not, that's for you to decide. You've just taken full control of the frame. One of my students, John, told me his girlfriend used to disappear for a few hours without replying when she was upset. In the past, John would text non-stop, call repeatedly, even drive to her house. The result, she pulled away even further. After learning the active silence principle, the next time she went quiet, he did nothing not out of passivity, but because he was busy with his own work. He sent only one message: "I know you're not feeling comfortable right now. Take your time and text me when you're ready." 2 hours later, she replied, "Sorry, I overreacted earlier." John didn't scold or lecture. He simply said, "I understand." From then on, her disappearances almost vanished because he had shown her, "You can't drag me into your emotional game." Why does this make women captivated? Because it fulfills one of their deepest needs: emotional safety. In a world full of men who react like push buttons, a man who can stand firm against the waves gives a rare feeling, like finding a safe harbor in the middle of a storm. And the paradox is, the less reactive you are, the more they want to be near you. How to train timely masculine silence. Stoic exercises. Practice the pause. When you feel the urge to react, take a deep breath and count to 3. That pause lets you shift from instinctive reaction to deliberate action. Observe instead of playing the role. In your mind, picture yourself watching a play, not acting in it. This creates emotional distance, so you can choose your response. Put principles before emotions. Decide in advance. You won't argue over text. You won't speak when you're too angry. You won't send more than 2 messages if the other person is silent. With preset principles, you don't have to think in the heat of the moment. Berker, fill the silence with value, not a void. When you don't respond, fill your time with work, training, or hobbies. Silence builds growth, strength. Silence builds waiting, weakness. Another friend of mine, David, had a girlfriend who would test him by saying, "I think we should take a break," whenever they argued. In the past, he would plead, argue, or try to explain himself. After practicing stoic calm the next time she said it, he simply replied, "If that's what you need, I respect it. I hope you've really thought it through." The result, she never brought it up again. Because when a test fails to shake you, they stop testing. Timely masculine silence isn't a power game to control someone else. It's proof that you control yourself. And to a woman, that's both a primal weakness and something they rarely encounter. When you have it, you don't need to shout, "I'm strong." They'll feel it in every moment. Calmness under testing is the art of keeping the storm outside. But women don't just want a man who's unshakable. They want to feel your real presence. And nothing communicates presence faster, clearer, and deeper than your eyes. Quality 4. Deep, unblinking eye contact. The eyes are where a woman decides whether she'll step in or not. Studies on eye contact show that when 2 people maintain eye contact longer than usual, levels of trust and emotional connection rise significantly. But not all eye contact is the same. Quick, darting glances, constant blinking, or looking away. The moment you're caught signals insecurity. In contrast, deep and steady eye contact, not a threatening stare, but calm, focused attention, sends a message of self-possession and quiet power. Women respond strongly to this because it creates the feeling of being fully seen, not just on the surface, but through the shell they've worn all day in front of the world. I once saw a couple at a cafe. The guy kept glancing at his phone while nodding absently at his girlfriend. When one of her friends walked by and started chatting, his eyes locked on that friend with far more focus. The reaction from his girlfriend was instant. Her eyes lit up, her voice softened. That's the effect of presence through eye contact. Marcus Aurelius once advised, pay attention as if it's the only thing you are doing. When you hold steady eye contact without flinching, you send the message, I'm here, I'm safe, I'm ready to see and be seen. In a world where most people are distracted, present eye contact is rare and valuable. To train it, start by looking into your own eyes in the mirror for 2 minutes a day to build presence. In conversation, maintain eye contact for 3 to 5 seconds before letting it drift naturally, then return. Practice with a cashier or waiter to make it second nature. Most importantly, when you look, be genuinely curious about the person in front of you. Real curiosity makes your eyes deeper. One of my students used to be terrified of eye contact. After 3 months of training, he realized that simply standing there and listening with steady eyes made others pull him into the conversation. With women, the effect was even stronger. They felt as if they were standing in a private beam of light, seen without being judged. Deep, unblinking eye contact can't be bought or faked. It's the product of self-control, presence, and an undisturbed mind. And that's exactly why women are both curious about it and drawn to it. Quality 5. Clear goals, not just passion. You've heard the inspirational lines, just do what you love, and success will follow. Sounds nice, but in reality, passion without direction will send you wandering in circles like a GPS with no signal. Some guy loves playing guitar. 10 years later, he's still at 3 chords and Saigon Dep Lamb. Another loves cooking, but his kitchen is a disaster zone, smoke everywhere, and he's never served a proper meal to anyone. Passion is fuel, but goals are the steering wheel. Without the wheel, the fuel just drives you into a wall faster. Women love hearing about your passion, but they watch longer than you think. If 6 months later you're still working on a project, but have nothing to show but words, a red banner flashes in their head, dreamer with no destination. Don't blame them. It's survival instinct. They're looking for someone who can turn ideas into reality. In psychology, this is called goal orientation. And research shows that people with specific goals and concrete execution plans aren't just more successful. They're rated as more attractive because they give off stability and reliability. The Stoics viewed it differently. Clear goals aren't for showing off, they're to keep yourself from drifting into meaningless pursuits. Seneca put it plainly, if a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. Picture 2 scenarios. Scenario A. You're dating a guy who says he's passionate about photography. 3 months later, he's still researching which camera to buy, and his gallery is just dinner photos. Scenario B. You're dating a guy who says he's working on a photo series called Night Shift Workers After Dark. He's already 50% done, and this weekend he's heading to the bus depot to shoot more. Which one convinces you his passion won't die in the crib? Women are drawn to men whose passion has direction, not because they need you to be wildly successful, but because they see discipline and persistence. Discipline is what keeps the fire burning when no one's cheering. When there are no likes, no how's the project going, you keep going anyway. That's when you prove to yourself you don't need an audience to live your values. How to train this? 1. Write down a specific goal. Not I want to be healthier, but I will work out 3 times a week, minimum 45 minutes for the next 3 months. 2. Break passion into daily doable steps. 3. Track progress, not to post online, but to see for yourself where you stand. 4. Keep part of it private. Not everything needs to be posted. Work in silence. Let results speak. Passion makes you feel alive, but goals make others believe you know what you're doing. And to a woman, a man who knows what he's doing and keeps doing it even when no one's watching, is almost impossible to resist. Quality 6. Desire to lead without controlling. There's a paradox in female psychology that most men either don't understand or understand so poorly they ruin everything women want to be led. But they hate being controlled. Sounds like opposites, but the difference is in how you hold the wheel. If you grab the wheel, order her to sit still, keep her hands off it, and forbid her to speak, she'll resist. But if you hold the wheel with calm confidence, give her the freedom to look around, talk, and still know exactly where you're taking both of you, she'll relax. And trust you, women want a man who can navigate life's curves without asking for permission every meter of the road. Not because they can't drive, but because they want to hand over the burden of decision to someone solid. And solid can't be faked. You can't lead by barking, "Listen to me," or piling on commands. That's control. Leadership, it's quieter. It's in the steady gaze, the even pace you keep while others panic. A true leader doesn't force compliance. He becomes the reference point. When he walks in, people naturally sync their rhythm to his. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Let your soul stand firm like a rock against which the waves break in vain." When you stand like that, you're the landmark in a storm, not because you shout over the wind, but because you don't let it move you an inch. I've seen it in action. Two couples go trekking. At a steep, muddy slope, rain starts falling. Couple 1. The guy panics. "Hurry, don't slip, hold my hand." "No, not like that. Just listen to me." His woman is twice as tense, not from the slope, but from his energy. Couple 2, the guy says little. He walks half a step ahead, glances back occasionally, offers his hand when needed, keeps an even pace. His woman is soaked too, but her face is calm. She knows just follow his lead and they'll get there. That's the difference between leadership and control. In psychology, this is secure leadership, the kind that creates psychological safety. When a woman feels safe with you, her defenses drop. She allows herself to soften, and paradoxically, that's when she becomes her most attractive. To achieve this drop, the need for micro-control. Don't interfere with every move, word, or breath. Instead, set the vision and walk ahead with actions that match. She'll follow not because you forced her, but because you've made the path clear and worth trusting. Training this starts with leading yourself discipline with your time, keeping promises, managing emotions. Once you can lead yourself, you can lead others. And when you can, you'll see you never need to tie someone to you. They'll stay, because you're the one man who doesn't panic when the world shakes. Quality 7. Words that open new worlds. Some men can talk for hours, and no one remembers a single line. Others say one sentence, and 10 years later, people still recall the exact tone, expression, even the atmosphere of that moment. That's the difference between talking just to finish a story and talking to open a new world inside the listener's mind. Evocative language isn't about flowery words or sounding like a poet. It's about choosing the right word at the right time in the right way, turning speech into imagery. When you say, "I'll call you later," it's just information. But if you say, "I'll call you when the moon's bright enough to see you on the balcony," you've just painted a picture. And women remember pictures far longer than words. The principle is say less, but make it count. Like a warrior who draws his sword only when necessary, a man speaks when his words carry weight. One sharp, image-rich sentence leaves more impact than a 5-minute monologue. I once knew an old man of few words. At a family dinner, his niece complained about her boring job. Everyone jumped in with advice and analysis. He stayed silent, Auntie, then finally said, "If the soil won't grow, your tree plant it somewhere else." The table went quiet. That line didn't just answer her, it burned an image into everyone's mind. Training evocative speech starts with listening more than you talk, so your words have gravity. Instead of, I'm tired, say, today felt like running a marathon in the desert. Instead of, I'm happy, say, feels like I just had one of your egg tarts. Not to be flashy, but to bring the other person into your emotional world. Women won't remember every fact you tell them, but they'll remember the feeling your words gave them. If every sentence opens a new fragment of a world, they'll come back not just to hear, but to stay inside that world longer. Quality 8. Let curiosity grow on its own. The problem with many men is they want to harvest right after planting. They meet a woman yesterday, and today they've dumped their entire life story from kindergarten to now listed their 10 life goals and thrown in 2 lines. I'm serious, and I'm not like other guys. The result, she has no reason to be curious. You've handed her the paperback summary of your life on the very first date. Lasting attraction is like a fine whiskey. It needs time to soak in, to warm, to spread. You don't pour a bucket down someone's throat and say, savor it. You give them 1 sip and let them want more. Women are the same. Curiosity is the pull that draws them closer. And if you fill it too quickly, they'll look for mystery elsewhere. Letting curiosity grow means keeping part of yourself unrevealed. Not the kind of secrets like I once stole company money to fund a bar, though. Some might find that intriguing. But the kind about your inner world, your dreams, your thought process. Let them discover you piece by piece through your words, actions, and the way you live. Don't hand them the treasure map, just let them find a few gold coins along the trail. I knew a guy who, during the first 3 months of dating his future wife, never mentioned he had multiple income streams. Not to test her, but because when she asked, he smiled and said, I'll tell you, but not today. When he finally told her, the story landed because she'd been waiting to hear it. The funny part, when you don't spill everything at once, people fill the gaps with their own imagination. And a woman's imagination is often more compelling than reality. Don't ruin it by explaining too soon. How to do it: 1. Stop answering every question immediately. 2. Tell half a story, then change the subject. 3. Let actions come before explanations. When curiosity dies, attraction dies with it. Wise men know the most valuable thing you can give a woman isn't all of you at once, but the journey of discovering you. Quality 9. The man who can walk away. There's a moment that defines a man, and the moment he realizes he can walk away. Not in anger, not as payback, but in the absolute calm of someone who knows his worth and refuses to trade it just to stay. Most men fear loss, so much that they bend their principles, tolerate disrespect, even shrink themselves just to hold on to something they should have let go. But the man who can walk away is different. He knows losing a relationship is not as bad as losing himself. He knows his presence is a gift, and gifts aren't given where they aren't valued. Women sense this more deeply than they admit. When they know you'll leave if it's no longer right, they also know you're not there out of fear of being alone. And here's the paradox. The willingness to walk away makes them want you to stay. Because you don't need them to exist, you choose them to share your existence. A man who can walk away doesn't threaten or posture. He doesn't shout, I'm leaving you, to make a point. He just withdraws, his energy stands, and walks. No drama, no tears. Just steady steps, like he's known the way for a long time. Epictetus said freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want, but the power to not be bound by what you do not need. The man who can walk away lives this truth. He's not chained by fear of loss, nor pulled by the illusion that someone will complete him. I've seen it. A friend's wife once tried a 3-day silent war to make him cave. He didn't get angry. He didn't beg. On the 4th day, he said, I think we both need something different. And he left. No noise. 3 months later, she came back, not because she feared losing him, but because she realized she couldn't keep a man like that with power games. Here's the point: the ability to leave doesn't make you cold, it makes you safe. People with, you're not stuck in the relationship out of obligation or fear. You stay because you want to, and you can go if you must. That freedom is the masculine frame women respect more than any promise of forever. Because in the end, a man is only truly strong when he needs nothing to cling to, not even the person he loves most. Quality 10. Financial self-reliance. Nothing kills masculinity faster than a man needing someone else's wallet to live his life. You can be tall, confident, hitting the gym every day, but if every bill is a battle, the energy you give off is as weak as a dying light bulb. Financial self-reliance isn't about being a millionaire. It's about standing on your own feet without anyone having to carry you. It's paying for dinner without checking your account first. It's knowing that if you lost your job tomorrow, you'd be fine, because you've prepared. That preparation doesn't just buy you peace of mind, it buys you a straight spine, steady eyes, and a voice that doesn't shake when making decisions. Women can feel this. They don't need you to buy luxury bags or fly them to the Maldives every month. They need to know you can build and protect the foundation of life. In their subconscious, solid finances signal stability, and stability equals safety. A man without financial self-reliance often falls into two traps: being a burden or being an empty show-off. Burdens are obvious. Show-offs, women spot them faster than you think. Buying a car beyond your means, posting fancy dinners while drowning in credit card debt, all ways of screaming, "I'm not enough." And once you're acting, you've already lost your frame. The Stoics taught wealth is not having many possessions, but having few wants. Financial self-reliance comes not just from earning more, but from spending less on what's meaningless. It comes from prioritizing building an emergency fund, investing wisely, and most importantly, not living for other people's approval. I once knew an Uber driver, not rich, but debt-free with savings and modest investments. He lived simply, no flashy flexing, no stinginess, just steady work. But when his wife wanted a new home, he bought one outright. A beautiful suburban place fully within his means. No asking for permission, no borrowing from friends. That freedom, not the account balance, was what gave him confidence. In the end, financial self-reliance isn't about money. It's about choice. And a man who can choose the life he wants is a man no one can shake. Conclusion. In the end, these 10 weaknesses are not for you to exploit women, but to understand this true attraction doesn't come from tricks or appearances. It comes from the core values you build within yourself. When you become the man who embodies these qualities, permissionless confidence, deep listening, calm under testing, clear goals, the ability to lead, evocative speech, mystery, the ability to walk away, and financial self-reliance, you don't just attract women. You attract the best version of yourself. And that is the real victory. You don't have to be perfect tomorrow, but you must start today. Pick one quality, train it until it becomes part of you, then move on to the next. What you gain won't just be a different look from women, but a different look in your own eyes when you face the mirror. Today's rallying cry: stand tall. Type it in the comments as a promise to yourself. This is Victory Stoic. If this video made you think differently about how you're living, share it with the man who needs to hear this, and subscribe, so next time I won't have to find you. You'll still hear my voice.